Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make are cookies. And again, if you've watched my channel, and I really appreciate you doing that, you know I do like easy, quick recipes, but I want them to taste good. And this particular cookie, well, it meets all the marks. It really does. I got it from a friend, and it's actually called Nova Scotia Sugar Cookies. And I really think if you take the time and you give this recipe, well, give it a go, I think it's a keeper. So let's get started. First, we're going to start off with butter. And you need 1 cup of butter. I cut it up into small pieces because I think it's easier to cream and much faster for the video. So you can make these cookies with your hand mixer or your stand-up. I like to use my stand-up again because I want to move things along for the video and not keep you too long. The next thing we're going to do is just to cream and break the butter up. Now I'm going to warn you about the sound of the mixer in case it seems a little too loud on your end, so you can maybe turn down your sound. Okay, now once you cream that and break that butter up, and it was at room temperature if I forgot to say that, you're going to put 2 eggs in, one at a time, beat them in. Before you put one in, beat it well, then add the second one, and again, warn you about the sound. Okay, now I'm just going to clean the sides and the bottom of my mixing bowl a little bit and turn the mixer on just for a second or two here. Okay, the order is going to be a little bit different than we're used to, but my friend told me this is how she makes them, and we tried them and they were fantastic, so I don't change things. When people have something, and it works well, I just follow it. So, you don't need to write to me and say, well, gee, how come you put this ingredient before that? It is a little bit non-traditional, but it works. And that's all I care about is the good results at the end. The next thing we're going to put in is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And while we're at it, we're going to add the 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now, I no longer put the recipe below the video, and I'm really sorry about that, but I'll explain later on why I don't do that. But I'm trying to hopefully go slow enough and clear that you will be able to write it down and that type of thing. So we just put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and we're just going to beat it in till it's smooth. And that might be 2 minutes, it might be 3 minutes. I'm going to move it along, but it really depends on your mixer and the speed that you use. Warn you about the sound. Now, again, I'm moving it along due to the video. The next thing you're going to put in is 1 cup of granulated sugar. Now, once again, you're not going to have probably your mixer that high. Again, I'm just doing it to speed things along. All right, let's talk about some dry ingredients here. What we're going to be putting in next is 2½ cups of flour, and I'm just going to do a little at a time. And then I'm going to stop it there because I'm going to put 1 more dry ingredient, and this is 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Now, stay with your beating till it does start to form together and like a cookie dough, or for your cookie bowl here. I should say mixing bowl. All right, and then I'm just taking off the excess. And we'll set that aside. And then I'm going to show you what the cookie dough looks like. I just, again, want to bring everything from the sides and to the bottom of the mixing bowl. Okay. And it will look like this. It really smells good. I mean, you can smell the butter and the vanilla at this point. When you are baking these cookies, because what I'm going to show you in a moment is how we're going to roll them in maple sugar. Okay. Now, maple sugar, you can buy it in your grocery stores or specialty stores, that kind of thing. All right. And what you want to do is you don't really have to grease or spray or your pan, or use your parchment paper or your mats, your Teflon mats. It's really up to you, you know, on what you want to do. But again, if you're used to just using a nice oil spray, use very, very little, or you can actually get away with just nothing, okay? So that's going to be up to you. The next thing is you're going to do is just form a cookie ball. Now what I do is, because I think it's easier, is I'm using my, not my smallest, but the next size up of cookie scoop. Now if you don't have that, then you know, you're putting on about, oh, maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon, you know, probably more, close to a tablespoon at this size. And then what I like to do is I just put it in, roll it in the maple sugar. Okay. Now, if you don't have that, or you don't like maple sugar, then just go ahead and roll them in granulated sugar, or you can roll them in your colored sugar too. And then just place that ball down. Let's do another one. Okay. And again, you could just, you know, pick up your dough with a spoon and then roll it in a ball in your hand. You don't have to use the scoop. And then just roll it in your sugar, your maple sugar. And we'll do one more. Now, as far as spacing them, I would space them a couple inches apart. They will spread a little bit. Now, you're going to bake these at 350 degrees, and you know, they can come up anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes. It really depends on your oven, and you know, all our ovens set up so differently. So, you know, but you don't want to really overbake these, because you don't want them to be real hard or real dry or real dense. Now I'm going to just wash my hands quickly here because I'm working with raw cookie dough, and I would like to show you what they look like once they're baked up. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Again, 350 on the temperature. And this is how they turn out. They really will bake up quite pretty. You'll have the outside of the sugar coating, so it'll be a harder finish on the top, okay? All right. And then on the bottom half, it'll be sort of a very light or a pale gold brown or golden brown, okay? And when you break into them, they will have a chew to them. In other words, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, I hope so, is that when I'm squeezing on them, you can see how light and how delicate they are. They really do just melt in your mouth. Let me just show you another one. So but they are not, I don't want to say, you know, they're they're like medium as far as density goes. But again, when you can see me squeeze them, and then how it's just, the crumbs are just flaking away. How that they're delicate cookies, they're light cookies, but they are great tasting cookies. And a pretty easy recipe, I think, to make. So again, sorry that I don't give you the recipe, and I'm not alone on this, but it just gets very tiring of seeing my work on other sites, and your work being taken and everything, and it's just not worth the time anymore. I think what's the most frustrating thing is that I always say to you, if you try this recipe and you liked it, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And it's pretty frustrating to see when people write to you and they're kind enough to take the time to write to you, and I can't answer because it's not on YouTube, because that's the only place I put my videos. So if you'd be so inclined to try the recipe, let me see how you made out with it. I'd love to hear from you, and I will do my best to answer those questions or those comments in a timely fashion. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. If you'd like, please subscribe to the channel. That would be fantastic, or ring the bell. Well, that's it for me today. So thanks again for watching Diane Lovetobake. Be safe, be well, and I'll see you soon.